Be careful what you post on the internet, because once you post it, it's there forever. Brooke Schofield is an influencer and a podcaster. She has a podcast with Tana Mojo, and she made some racist tweets when she was a teenager and in her early 20s. And someone dug up those tweets and exposed her for her past. Now she's on the internet copping pleas. Guaranteed if Zimmerman shot a white guy, this wouldn't even be a story. Newsflash, this wasn't a crime of racism, it was self-defense. Why do I have the most ratchet hair ever? My God. I swear I had nappier hair this morning than most African Americans on this end of our country. Hashtag Afro. What do you call a Mexican baptism? Bean dip. No. Cassie yelled racist profanities in the movie theater. Only minority in the room is sitting directly behind us. I said so many accidentally racist things last night. I don't know how I even made it back to America. You can tweet. You can answer your phone, you thing gay slur. I had a question. Quit calling me when you're drunk, gay slur. I don't even want you when you're sober. Again, I thought I wasn't racist. I never thought racism was okay. I just didn't realize I was a part of the problem. I thought I was funny tweeting offensive things, and I wasn't. And I thought that what I heard on the news had to be true. It wasn't. I'm so sorry. Exactly. People are allowed to be hurt by her words, especially those who it was targeted at. And it's not none POC's place for us to forgive her and defend her growth. People can be hurt. This is her first apology.
About accountability lately and how important it is and how far it can go, and I feel like I'm not taking my own advice. Obviously by now you guys have seen the tweets that are circulating around. They unfortunately are not fake. Those are real tweets, like real things that I said. First of all, I want to acknowledge that I feel the same way about them that you do. I think they're so disturbing, they're wrong, they're horrible, and they're disgusting. Of course, I do appreciate the people who are coming to bat for me and like saying like, you know, it was so long ago and like she's grown and stuff, but like it doesn't fucking matter. Like it literally does not matter. They are horrible. I want to talk about particularly the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman situation. Try not to be so emotional because I don't want it to seem like it's like a sympathy thing at all. I also don't want to blame anybody else at all, and so I'm trying like to be really careful about that. I just want to explain like and give some context into like my mindset at the time, because I have seen like some comments today that are like, well, no shit, she's racist, like white nepo baby, like a little like spoiled brat, like, and that was not my situation. And my parents were addicts, so I was adopted by my grandparents when I was like 10, and I grew up with them from that point on. And as is true for a lot of grandparents, they're a little bit less progressive than a lot of us are now. And my grandma has dementia, so it was really just like me and my grandpa, and he is a very, very right-wing conservative man, okay? It was like my household was literally just Fox News all the time, Rush Limbaugh, like if you guys know who that is, like playing literally all day long through the house, and that was just like the only thing ever that I had been exposed to. A lot of you guys have also seen my mom's Twitter because she was responding back and forth about the Trayvon Martin situation, and I just should have known better. I know her, and I should have known that she is not somebody that I take any sort of political insight from at all. Again, sometimes you like have these people that you like put on a pedestal and you think everybody older than you is smarter than you and knows everything, and they do not. Truthfully, it took me a really long time. Like, I know some of the tweets I was like 18 and people are like, yeah, like she was old enough to know better. Like, honest to God, you guys, it wasn't until like even after college that I really started to like shift my way of thinking. And there are people in my life who I might have looked up to forever who I do not agree with. And I think it's amazing now that people are like learning earlier on about politics and like forming their own opinions outside of like what their parents think or what they're hearing or whatever it is. But that just wasn't the case for me. Whatever I heard, I passed on. I'm sorry, very, very sorry to anybody who is hurt by the tweets, because obviously they are very hurtful. Like a lot of it is just like what, like why would I even say that? And I apologize for not having said something sooner. I just felt like I was getting these messages from people who like were hurt by them, and I felt like by bringing more attention to it, I was just going to be hurting more people, and that was not the right mindset. I should have said something sooner, and I would never let something go this far again. Like, I love you all so much, and obviously I know that there are some people who are just like not going to care for me anymore, and like I understand that. I need you to know that like is not how I think, that is not what I believe, and I am 27 years old now. I've had so much time to like learn and grow and like formulate my own opinions, and they are nothing like they were when I was 17, 18 years old. All right, you guys,
She knew exactly what she was saying when she was 17 or 18 years old. And even then, when you're 17 and 18, you are forming your own opinion about your views in the world. Like she said, I've grown out of that. No, she has not. If you racist, just stand on it. I like when people stand on what they mean and stand on what they say, because that lets me know how I need to deal with you. I don't think that she's delineated from what she's grown up in. However, she does have to make an apology, because this is now how she gets her money. And so her bag is being jeopardized for something that she said years ago. You don't just change overnight. Now, I'm a black person. I was not hurt by her Trayvon Martin tweets, because I know that there's ignorant people out there. And I can accept that this is your viewpoint. Do I agree with it? No. Even in college, she was being racist. She pretended to have a liberal mindset so she could get better grades in school.
Listening to everybody, and obviously I am reflecting and looking back on it, and I do agree with everyone that I missed the mark. I obviously saw everything that was going on, and I saw how hurt everybody was by it, so I felt like I just had to put something out as soon as I physically could, so that nobody thought I was ignoring the situation or didn't realize how like important it was. But as a result of that, I put out this like very emotional, scrambled video where I essentially made none of the points that I should have been making. First and obviously most important thing is that I'm so sorry, specifically to Black people and the other people of color who were offended by my tweets, okay? Because obviously
a young Black man that was gunned down because he was seen as a criminal. I don't want to hear other people of color that was offended. We don't care if they was offended. It's not about them. This ain't their community. Okay, they could stand with us in solidarity. They can be upset, but it's not about them. This is about the Black community, because that's who you were referring to. This young Black man and his family.
I'm seeing a lot of like positivity in the comments and people saying that they forgive me, and it's all white people. And that's how I know I did not address this properly at all. So I want to be clear that this is directed specifically to Black people and other people of color, and I'm not seeking white people's understanding or forgiveness, or approval, or whatever it is. Now, sorry is not enough, in my opinion, for the way that I was tweeting and the things that I was saying online at that time. And I know that there's no apology beyond like reparations that can mend that wound. I don't care if I was a teenager, I was old enough to know better. And not only did I choose to say those things, I chose to say those things on a public platform. And I am very, very ashamed of it. Especially sorry to those who were affected in real time, because keep in mind, I had friends and family who were following me at that time and would have been hurt by those tweets. And I feel sick over that. The tweets were racist, okay? There's no getting around that. They cannot be dismissed as jokes or political opinions or anything else. It was racism. In my last video, I put all this emphasis on my family, thinking it was gonna like provide context, but instead it just made it look like I was pointing fingers and like placing blame, and that was exactly the opposite of what I should have been doing. The fact of the matter is, nobody forced me to tweet those things. I tweeted those things on my own, and the blame is on me. A conscious choice to not learn about politics until I was a young adult. But that did not stop me from tweeting political opinions. I wanted to appear that I knew more than I did and that I was educated, and instead I was spreading harmful very, very harmful misinformation. I had all the educational resources available to me to learn what was right, and I chose not to. However, the murder of Trayvon Martin has nothing to do with politics, okay? The murder of Trayvon Martin was a hate crime. It was horrible, and he did not deserve it, and no black person deserves it. When it happened, I repeated disgusting misinformation on a public platform, and I'm genuinely so disturbed by that. I truly cannot believe it. It makes me sick, truly sick to think about it now. Now, I mentioned in my last video how I didn't really open my eyes until after college, but I want to make it clear that when I say that, I'm referring to hate crimes in particular. It wasn't until after college that I realized how prevalent police brutality is and how common hate crimes are. It's constantly happening. I think a lot of people felt this way, but the murder of George Floyd shifted my mindset completely, okay? Because that's when I started to really research and learn what it was like and what it looked like to be anti-racist. I started to seek out my own resources and learn what reparations looked like and learn what I could do as a white person in situations like these. And I'm really, truly ashamed that it took me that long. I talked in my last video about how I grew up in a Republican household. And I didn't say that because I think all Republicans are racist, but I just wanted you to know that those are the only conversations that I had been exposed to. But then I went off to college, okay? And I went to college in Arizona, which is still a red state, but Arizona is also a state with a lot of diversity. And
I'm gonna need you to cut the cap. Arizona is racist. We gotta stop. All Republicans aren't racist. Those that are Republicans and racist, they're more blunt about it. There are a lot of Democrats that are also racist. They just get to hide behind a veil of pretending like they're not. They're one and the same.
I was a public health major where so many elements had to do with race and racial inequality. I learned so much during that time, you guys. It was actually really eye-opening for me because I had a lot of thoughts my entire life that completely shifted once I started to learn things from other people's perspectives. So much of what I previously had believed to be true changed, and I started paying attention to things that I hadn't before. Again, I acknowledge
H3 exposed her. She still had them same ideas in college. She just pretended that she didn't. A lot of white women do. They pretend that they don't have those views, but they do. And they go into public health, teaching, nursing, and they still have a racist mindset. And that affects the people that they're supposed to be working for and working to help.
That I was an adult at this time, and Again, I had all the resources in the world available to me to educate myself prior to college, and I chose not to, and for that I am sorry. Really, really wish that I had. I wrote my college thesis on racial disparities, so how things like socioeconomic standing, health, housing, income, and so many other things can be affected by your race. I didn't stop learning there, and I don't plan to stop learning about these issues ever. I truly mean that, and I know a lot of you aren't going to believe me, and I understand that, but I do care about these issues. But I don't want this conversation to be over, honestly. I'm not posting this video to make everything go away. I don't want to try to get myself uncanceled, but I know there are a lot of people like me who are still working to unlearn the inherent racism that we possess still. While I know that I've changed, I also know that there is a lot of work to be done, okay? There is a lot that I could still do that I have not done yet. I promise you that I will. I have been and will continue to look into reparation initiatives to share with you guys, as well as figure out ways that we can give Black creators more visibility, because we know that's a major problem in this space. I want to do everything that I can to show you that I am not the person that I was in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. I am not. I understand that there are people who are never going to forgive me, and I do not fault you for that at all. At all. But I truly am so sorry. I am sorry for the words that I said. I am sorry for my racist past. I am sorry for the people that I hurt. And I want to do everything I can to earn back your trust, because it really is very important to me. Like I said, I think reparations are
If you're really sorry, donate to Trayvon
more important
Martin's
than
Foundation.
apologies. So I have already donated to the Trayvon Martin Foundation. Literally the first thing I did. And I'm doing my research. I'm looking into other communities and foundations that I can help with, and I will continue to do that. Like I said, in any way that I can help, I will help.
If she's for real about it, it'll show.